Slow down, take a breath, and listen. There comes a moment in every life when noise stops working, when explanations feel heavy, when arguments feel empty, when proving yourself feels like a burden you no longer want to carry. This moment does not arrive suddenly. It grows quietly. It grows after years of giving, after years of hoping, after years of staying, when your heart was asking you to leave. Most people never reach this moment. They stay trapped in reaction. They stay trapped in emotion. They stay trapped in the need to be understood. But the ones who grow, the ones who become calm and powerful, they reach a different understanding. They realize not everything deserves a response. Not everyone deserves access. Not every door should remain open. And this is where the power of walking away is born. Walking away is not weakness. It is not fear. It is not defeat. It is clarity. It is the strength that comes after you stop lying to yourself. You see, most people do not stay because they are happy. They stay because they are afraid. Afraid of loneliness. Afraid of judgment. Afraid of starting over. Afraid of what leaving might say about them. So they endure. They tolerate. They explain. They shrink. They adjust. Slowly, they lose their center. And one day they wake up tired without knowing why. Not tired of work. Not tired of life. Tired of carrying weight that was never theirs to carry. This is when the soul speaks. Not loudly. Not aggressively. It speaks in discomfort, in restlessness, in a quiet inner voice that says, "This is not right." And here is the mistake many people make. They try to silence that voice with logic. They say, "It's not that bad. I should be grateful. I'm overthinking. It will change." But truth does not disappear when ignored. It waits. Walking away is not an emotional reaction. It is a conscious decision made after awareness. It is the moment you choose peace over performance. You stop performing happiness. You stop performing strength. You stop performing patience. You become real. And reality requires courage, because when you walk away, you face silence, and silence reveals everything. It reveals how much noise you were surrounded by. It reveals how much tension you normalized. It reveals how much of yourself you gave away just to keep things working. In silence, you feel withdrawal, like stepping away from something familiar, even if it was hurting you. The mind prefers familiarity over freedom, but growth demands discomfort. Walking away forces you to stand alone, not lonely, alone. And there is a difference. Loneliness is emptiness. Aloneness is space. Space to think. Space to breathe. Space to remember who you were before you started adjusting yourself. To survive. Silence feels strange when you are used to noise. At first, your mind does not rest. It searches for familiar tension. It waits for reactions. It wants confirmation. This is conditioning. Peace always feels unfamiliar before it feels safe. Walking away closes the leak. Clarity returns. You see patterns. You see red flags. You see how often you stayed quiet about the wrong things. Distance is perspective. You stop reacting. You regain control. Reaction gives power away. Calm withdrawal takes it back. Attachment whispers. It tells you to stay even when you are hurting. Attachment is not love. It is fear wearing the mask of loyalty. The mind clings to familiar pain because it feels predictable. But intuition feels calm. Attachment feels urgent. Walking away honors what the body already knows. Letting go forces you to face yourself without noise, without distraction. This is where maturity grows, not in avoidance, in presence. Care without boundaries becomes self-harm. Love without respect becomes exhaustion. Walking away interrupts the cycle. It creates space, space for clarity, space for healing, space for peace. You stop asking, do they want me? You start asking, does this align with who I am becoming? This clarity is freedom. And freedom begins, Dai, the moment you choose to walk away. There comes a point when the noise outside can no longer distract you from the noise inside. You may still smile. You may still function. But something feels off. This is awareness waking up. It asks questions you can no longer ignore. Why am I still here? Why do I feel drained? Why do I explain myself and still feel unseen? Walking away often begins inside before it happens outside. You stop defending what hurts you. You stop justifying what drains you. You stop lying to keep peace. You become quieter, not cold, not distant, just aware. You notice patterns. You notice how your kindness became an expectation, how your silence was mistaken for weakness. Clarity settles in. You stop trying to fix people. You stop rescuing situations. You stop needing to be understood at any cost. You understand something deeper. You cannot heal what does not want to change. Walking away is not rejection. It is alignment. Alignment with your values, with your limits, with your future. You can love and still walk away. You can care and still choose distance. Self-preservation is not selfish. It is necessary. Because when you ignore limits and life enforces them through exhaustion, walking away early is wisdom. Walking away late is survival. Either way, it is strength. You stop waiting for permission to change. You give it to yourself. Confidence grows quietly. Not confidence that performs, confidence that rests. You enforce boundaries without announcements, through action, through absence, through consistency. Silence reveals truth faster than confrontation ever could. People show who they are when access is removed. Let them. Your job is not to manage reactions. Your job is to stay aligned. Walking away creates emotional independence. You stop needing responses to feel secure. You stop measuring worth by attention. Freedom follows. Freedom from expectation. Freedom from disappointment. Freedom from negotiation. At first, it feels empty. But emptiness is space in disguise. You cannot rebuild while holding what broke you. There was a time when staying felt easier than leaving, not because it was right, but because it was familiar. Familiar pain feels predictable, but tolerance is not strength. Awareness is. Walking away is an honest conversation with yourself. You stop blaming circumstances. You start choosing consciously. There was a man who was tired of proving. He worked harder, stayed longer, explained more. Nothing changed. So he stopped. He withdrew extra effort. He chose dignity. And when nothing shifted, he left quietly. Fear came first. Relief followed. He trusted himself again. There was a woman who believed love meant endurance. She stayed through neglect, through silence, through absence. One calm question changed everything. If this never changes, can I live like this? The answer was no. She left without drama, and peace returned slowly. Walking away did not break her heart. It saved it. Sometimes walking away means leaving patterns. Patterns of overgiving, patterns of reacting, patterns of emotional urgency. Breaking patterns requires discipline. Discipline to pause, discipline to observe, discipline to choose differently. Discipline creates freedom. Over time, walking away stops feeling dramatic. It becomes normal. Not because you care less, but because you care with wisdom. You no longer rush to react. You no longer feel pulled into every emotional current. You observe first. Observation creates distance. Distance creates choice. Choice is where freedom lives. You begin to notice how much of life is unnecessary struggle, not because life is easy, but because resistance creates suffering. When you walk away, you stop resisting reality. You accept what is. Acceptance does not mean agreement. It means clarity. You see people as they are. You see situations as they are. You stop editing reality to feel comfortable. This honesty is grounding. Grounding brings stability. And stability changes how you move through years, not just moments. You plan differently. You choose slower. You commit selectively. You no longer confuse intensity with importance. Calm becomes valuable. You start building a life that feels sustainable, not exciting on the surface, but peaceful underneath. And peace lasts longer than excitement. Walking away teaches you patience with time. You stop forcing timelines. You stop demanding outcomes. You let growth unfold. This patience protects you from burnout. It protects you from repeating old cycles with new faces. Because now you recognize patterns early. You sense misalignment quickly. And instead of explaining, you step back. This saves years. Years of emotional labor. Years of quiet suffering. Years of self-betrayal. Walking away is an investment in your future self. Your future self, Veti, will thank you for the doors you closed gently, for the conversations you did not continue, for the chaos you did not entertain. This future self stands calmer, moves clearer, lives lighter, and here is the deep truth. Peace compounds, just like stress does. Each time you choose peace, your nervous system learns safety. Each time you walk away calmly, your mind learns trust. Trust in yourself, trust in timing, trust in life. This trust is what allows you to face uncertainty without panic. You no longer fear what you cannot control. You focus on what you can, your actions, your boundaries, your presence. Presence becomes your anchor. You stop living in imagined futures. You stop replaying old pasts. You live here. And here is where power is. Walking away teaches you how to return to the present moment, to your breath, to your body, to your inner stillness. Stillness is not empty. It is full of awareness, and awareness is the deepest form of strength. You are no longer trying to prove anything. You are no longer chasing peace. You are living it, quietly, consistently, intentionally. And that is what mastery looks like. As time passes, you begin to understand something very few people ever fully grasp. Life does not reward noise. It rewards alignment. The loudest voices are rarely the strongest. The calmest ones, carry the most weight. Walking away, he teaches you this truth again and again. You stop trying to convince. You stop trying to correct. You stop trying to control. Control was never the goal. Clarity was. Clarity over where you stand. Clarity over what you accept. Clarity over what you release. When clarity becomes your guide, decisions lose confusion. You no longer argue with yourself. Your yes becomes clean. Your no becomes firm. This firmness does not come from pride. It comes from peace. Peace removes hesitation. You trust your judgment because it is no longer rushed. You have learned the cost of staying too long, the cost of explaining too much, the cost of ignoring early signals. Now you listen sooner. This saves you from regret. Regret often comes not from what we did, but from what we tolerated. Walking away reduces regret, because even when it hurts, you know you honored yourself. That knowledge creates inner stability. Stability is what allows you to face storms without panic. Storms still come, challenges still appear, loss still happens. But you are no longer shaken easily. You are anchored. Anchors do not stop waves. They stop drifting. Walking away becomes part of your anchor. It keeps you grounded when emotions rise. It reminds you that you always have a choice. Choice is freedom, not freedom from pain, freedom from chaos. There is a difference. Pain can teach, chaos only drains. Walking away chooses pain with purpose over chaos without meaning. This choice shapes character. You become someone who does not react impulsively. You become someone who pauses. Pausing creates wisdom. Wisdom allows you to respond from your values, not your wounds. This shift changes relationships. You no longer bond through shared trauma. You bond through shared calm. You no longer confuse intensity with intimacy. You value consistency. Consistency is the language of trust, and trust is built slowly. Walking away protects trust by removing environments where it cannot grow. You stop explaining why you changed. You changed because you listened. That is enough. You stop apologizing for your boundaries. Boundaries are not punishments. They are instructions. They teach others how to engage with you. And when instructions are ignored, distance enforces them. Distance is not cruelty. It is clarity. Clarity without emotion. Clarity without argument. This clarity restores dignity. You no longer feel the need to justify your peace. You no longer feel guilty for choosing yourself. Guilt fades when self-respect grows. Self-respect becomes visible in how you carry yourself. Your voice softens. Your posture steadies. Your presence deepens. People feel it, not because you demand respect, because you embody it. Walking away has changed you, not into someone cold, into someone grounded. Grounded people do not chase storms. They build shelter. They create environments where calm can live. And calm is contagious. Those who are ready will feel safe around you. Those who are not will drift away. Both outcomes are correct, because alignment is not about keeping everyone. It is about keeping yourself. As you approach the final stage, there is one lesson that matters above all. You do not walk away to escape life. You walk away to meet it fully, with clarity, with presence, with strength. And this strength does not fade with time. It deepens because it was built on truth. There comes a time when you stop asking why things happened the way they did, not because you stopped caring, but because understanding has already arrived. You see it now. Every moment that asked you to stay when your soul wanted to leave was teaching you something. Every time you explained yourself and were not heard, you were learning boundaries. Every time you tolerated what drained you, you were learning self-respect. And every time you finally walked away, you were choosing truth over comfort. This is not regret. This is integration. Integration is when lessons stop hurting and start strengthening you. You no longer replay the past to punish yourself. You visit it briefly with compassion, and you move on because you understand now. Walking away was never about them. It was about you coming home to yourself. Home is not a place. It is a state of being, a state where your breath is calm, where your mind is clear, where your heart is steady. You live from this place now, not perfectly, but consciously. You no longer abandon yourself for approval. You no longer trade peace for belonging. You belong to yourself, and that belonging is unshakable. You trust yourself to leave what feels wrong. You trust yourself to wait when things are unclear. You trust yourself to stand alone when alignment demands it. This trust is the quiet power that guides your future. Your life begins to feel simpler, not empty, intentional. You choose fewer things, but you choose them fully. You invest where energy flows both ways. You stay where respect is mutual. You build where peace is possible. You no longer rush life. You walk with it, and life responds differently to those who are not desperate. Opportunities arrive quietly. Connections form naturally. Growth unfolds steadily. You are no longer chasing outcomes. You are aligned with process. This alignment protects you from burnout. It protects you from repeating old cycles in new forms. Because now you listen early. You sense misalignment before it becomes damage. And you act, not emotionally, not impulsively, calmly, decisively. Walking away has become a part of your character, not as avoidance, as wisdom. You know when to speak. You know when to stay silent. You know when to step back. This knowing keeps your life clean. Clean of unnecessary conflict. Clean of emotional debt. Clean of lingering resentment. Resentment fades when boundaries are honored. You no longer need closure from others. Your clarity is your closure, and clarity is enough. As this journey comes to a close, remember this. You were never weak for staying as long as you did. You were learning, and you are not cold for walking away. You are awake, awake to your limits, awake to your worth, awake to your responsibility to protect your inner world. Walking away is not the end of connection. It is the beginning of conscious connection. Connection without fear. Connection without performance. Connection without self-erasure. You move forward now with a quieter strength. A strength that does not seek attention. A strength that does not need applause. A strength that holds steady when tested. This is mastery, not control over others. Control over yourself. And that is the greatest power you will ever hold. Stay calm, stay present, stay aligned. When something asks you to lose yourself to stay, remember what you know now. You can walk away, and you will be okay. Better than okay. You will be free.